Is this the end of Facebook, Libra? Oh, that didn't sound that dramatic. It sounded like I've been smoking for 35 years and I had to get my vocal cords changed. That one was rough. Regardless, though, we are looking at Facebook and their crypto coin Libra. This has been a wild set of weeks / just since October. We've had a lot of crazy stuff going on regarding Libra. If you don't know, Project Libra is Facebook's attempt at making their own cryptocurrency. As far as what it's used for, I know a lot of it's going to be based off of Facebook applications like Instagram Shop and everything like that. So we had some interesting news here. So obviously starting the 1st of October, they already had backers at the start, Visa, Mastercard, and now they are starting to reconsider, thinking about the backlash going on here. What kind of regulation can come of this? It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, they've already received a lot of backlash from Washington, D.C. regarding this, on actually how, if they're allowed to do this, what are the specifics of it. It's going to be interesting to see. So that's the first, and then they had another big partner, PayPal, and, well, on the 7th, PayPal officially pulled out. Now, they aren't stopping their backing of it. They just pulled out of being involved with it necessarily, so they wouldn't be offering it on their site, but they are not going to be actively supporting them pushing it through. So it's going to be interesting here. So obviously, who knows? Visa and MasterCard's still involved at this point, but PayPal's backed out. We're going to see entirely, but PayPal would be a good source, right, for Libra to be traded on. It just makes sense. It's a widely used thing. It just would make sense. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there, right? Then, Loop Capital. Well, I mean, obviously this is a garbage analyst, so they pretty well could suck it. But saying Facebook underestimates the pressure, I think they absolutely do. They certainly know what kind of pressure this takes, and that's why they undertook this. And it is going to be a very long process. That is kind of the deal here. I mean, you can't just make a currency out of nowhere. It is a long process to get all of those ducks in line, if you'll consider it that way. It'll take much longer. And regulations, obviously, a lot of regulations. If you think about, let's not think about communist Europe, but I'm just kidding. But still, a lot of fines are being paid because of a lot of garbage. And think about this. No one in Europe is going to be backing this, just due to the fact that they're not really for capitalism in a sense. They're going to stick to their state currencies, their country currencies. This is kind of what they're going to stick to. And there's not going to be much changing that, in most European countries. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays into effect. If there's only going to be certain countries that this is involved in. If you think about it, like, heck, China, you can't even get on Facebook, Google as is. So you're not going to be able to market it in China at this point, Can't even watch freaking basketball in China, gosh dang it. I don't know why I said it that way, but, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a long process, but, oh gosh, Libra's head of product left in August? You serious? He left in August. This is the man who started this project. I keep mixing project and product somehow. This is wild. But this guy left in August, and they're still pushing this through, which is interesting. You would have thought that maybe they just didn't want the backlash at the time, so they would have dropped it once this guy left. But they have every intention of pushing it through. And in fact, Zuckerberg is going to testify by himself, which is interesting, on October 23rd, 10 a.m., you need to listen to this. I'm just going to be honest. This is going to be very interesting to see. As far as Zuckerberg's concerned, it's going to be interesting to see. There actually was a leaked recording of a meeting that Zuckerberg had, and it was pretty interesting actually to listen to. And if you haven't listened to it, it's maybe 2 hours of content. Just Zuckerberg speaking about the current state of things, and it's really interesting. It's worth to listen to because normally when you hear Zuckerberg, he's this emotionless, just robot, right? But in the recording, because he doesn't know he's being recorded, he knows not live, he's a lot more emotional, and he kind of speaks to the tune that regardless of who gets elected in this upcoming election, Facebook's going to fight for the company as opposed to necessarily what the country wants them to do, which is an interesting thing, because there obviously is a fear if we get one of the headline socialists winning the election, what's going to happen to these big businesses? Are they going to fight? Well, yes, obviously. For the most part, though, I mean, these candidates are claiming that they're going to disrupt all big business and split them up. There's been talks about splitting Facebook into all their separate things, like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all separate, which would be insane. But in that, Zuckerberg spoke that he is going to fight for the company and he plans on winning any legal battles that come through it. So it's really interesting to read. So I'm going to be interested to see how Zuckerberg acts, obviously on Capitol Hill. Let's be honest, he's going back into robot mode. We all know what's going to happen. And Mr. Senator, we sell ads. I can't wait for another one of those when people who have no clue what they're talking about are questioning a guy who actually has a clue. It's always funny to see that whenever Zuckerberg testified against Congress originally, and the people had no clue about anything. They're just asking stupid questions, and Zuckerberg schooled them good majority of the time. He was getting blasted quite a bit, but, I mean, some people are uneducated, and Zuckerberg knows his business, so that's why he's going here alone. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He's not going to be going alone if he doesn't know exactly the specifics. It's going to be very interesting to see this, so keep an eye out for the 23rd. But speaking of government, Democratic senators decided to write letters specifically to potential partners of Facebook's Libra. Visa, Mastercard, and Stripe, who are all supporters, got letters from these Democratic senators saying, well, maybe you shouldn't be involved. Well, how about this? How are you to say? That's pretty messed up, man. I mean, politics should not be getting involved in this. It just shouldn't be that way. It's ridiculous. It's just anti-capitalistic. I don't know why you wouldn't let them do their thing. If it fails, it fails. But you should not be pressuring companies who said they're going to be involved. You shouldn't be pressuring them to not be involved. That's ridiculous. That's maybe my opinion, but I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. So we'll see as a result. I mean, if Visa and Mastercard are going to go ahead and withdraw. I don't know. This was yesterday's news, so we'll give it some time to gestate, see what happens. If we're looking at cryptocurrencies in general, that's one big question I still have with Libra here is, where's the backing? So no currencies, no crypto right now really has any sort of backing. Its price is entirely based off speculation, and the value that it provides. So you really can, it's an anonymous currency that you can use anywhere. It's really the benefit of crypto right now. And that's a concern too. If people use this Libra for, I mean, to be frankly honest, Bitcoin gets used a lot on, black market, dark web, a lot of under the table stuff that is very messed up, and people use Bitcoin because it's an anonymous payment. There's obviously concerns if Libra gets used for this kind of stuff, what's the backlash of Facebook going to be? Pretty hefty, probably. So they're going to have to regulate it pretty heavily. We're going to entirely see how that looks, and I want to see what they consider it backing it off of, because without backing, there's no real say for the success level of it. Obviously, just the Facebook name alone might be enough, to drive it, but we need to know what's backing it in case there comes some serious regulation regarding crypto in the future. You don't know that, And if we're looking at a couple of popular ones, obviously Bitcoin here, been around for quite a while. It's interesting. So there's 18 million Bitcoins out there. Total. We see peak charts here right around 2018 here. Potentially the 2017 range in December. 2017 in December, you get somewhere around that all-time high of $20,000 per a single Bitcoin. You got that right. So you're telling me that this guy went ahead and went from, let's say back in 2012, started 2012 at $13, went to $2,000 in 2017. That is freaking insane. That is wild. And on the 5-year chart, up 64,000%. So this value just comes in people using it and buying it. I mean, that's really where that value goes. And the site here, by the way, is on Coinbase. It's a way you can have your own cryptocurrency wallet. They carry at least a majority of cryptocurrencies. No commission fees, obviously, on it. You can buy any partial amount of any coin you really want. I have a very small wallet, as is, I think I have some Bitcoin and some, what else did I have? I have some Litecoin and some Stellar as well. Nothing significant, though, so. But in general, I mean, we see a little bit of a rebound here, and we've been going through a little bit of a rebound as far as this crypto is concerned, but this is the most established one. So think about the lesser established ones. You have Ethereum here, which is probably the second biggest. Still on the 5-year, up 6,000%. Interesting. In the same peak there, right around December of 2017, hitting that all-time high of 1,400. Interesting to see. And it really hasn't seen that kind of rebound yet. It's kind of been stagnant over the past 2 years. Nothing really to see here. It's just kind of a stagnant one over the past year. Just no movement. Bitcoin's at least recovered a little bit. And then we have Litecoin, which saw a little bit of recovery. Same peak point here in December of 2017. Saw a little bit of recovery, but it's already shot back down now. So the question is, since none of these are backed, I mean, who's to give value to these? That's why I don't invest any large amounts of money in cryptocurrencies. There's no way to know, and there's so many in the market now. Who's to say which ones are going to be, around still? I mean, if we look here on the right, you got Stellar Lumens, you got Chainlink, Dash, Tezos, Ethereum Classic, USD Coin. That's right, USD Coin, Zcash, Basic Attention Token. What is this crap? I mean, Augur. What? There's so many. There's so many cryptocurrencies. Who knows what's good? So that's my point on this Libra thing. We're going to see in the future more details come out, but I don't believe this is the end for Facebook Libra. I think we need to take a check, wait until the 23rd, and we're going to see what happens. If Zuckerberg gets massacred on Capitol Hill, I might be concerned, but I don't know if it's necessarily a negative thing if they abandon the Libra project. There's going to be a lot of time and money spent on this thing, so we'll see what happens. I think there could be a lot of money going their way. I think they could spend a lot of money on the other side, so we'll see. We'll see what goes on, but still buy Facebook stock.